Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. It is the second of 3 drop-in sessions for the City of Bradford Metropolitan District Council procurement for daytime activities for adults with a learning disability, which is the reference Delta November 77556. As you probably know, if you have joined us before or if you came on the tender ready training, we've got 3 of these drop-in sessions. Like I say, this is the second one, that are really just an open forum for us to chat through any process related queries that we might have had offline or through clarifications, but also to give providers who are going through the bidding process an opportunity to ask any questions that they might have had as they go. So we have half an hour set aside, but we will just go through some queries that we've already had in. And then we'll push out to questions, and it will take as long as it takes. So we'll not keep everybody here if we finish a bit earlier, but please do feel free to ask as many questions as you have. If there are any questions we can't answer today, we'll push those through clarification questions into Bradford, and they'll be answered through the normal clarification question log process. Just to let you know, this is being recorded and it will be pushed out onto our YouTube channel. So if you're registered to come along, or it's classed as on demand is this session. So if you couldn't make it and you hadn't booked to come on, you can still book at a later date and you'll still get a copy of the recording. So every opportunity to hear what we run through today. So just a quick information update before we have a look at some of the questions that we've had. Just to really run through some key dates initially. So clarification questions are still open, but they do close on the 18th of October, which is next week at 5 p.m. So today is the 9th of October, so they close on the 18th of October at 5 p.m. Bradford Council will then respond to those clarifications by the 23rd of October. So a little bit of time for them to go through any remaining clarification questions that are in. But do remember, come 5 p.m. on the 18th of October, that clarification question window will close. And so you won't be able to ask any further questions. You can submit them. And generally, public sector are quite good at trying to answer questions if they can, but there's no guarantee that they would be able to. So do remember that clarifications should be in by 5 p.m. on the 18th of October. The application return date is set for the 1st of November 2023 at 12 noon. So that's when your submission has to be uploaded into the Your Tender procurement portal system. Our advice would be sometimes, not often, but sometimes there can be gremlins in the system. So our advice would always be to be submitting well in advance of that 12 noon deadline, just in case there are any technical issues or any gremlins playing around in the system. You have an opportunity to get in touch with the technical help desk and the City of Bradford Council as well, to let them know if there are any issues. If you leave it till the last minute and then can't submit, there is a chance that you wouldn't then be able to submit. And this isn't a DPS, so this is a one-time opportunity, so this won't reopen. So it's really important that you have everything ready and try and submit it well in advance of that 12 noon deadline if you can. If there are any technical issues, do get onto the technical helpline as soon as you possibly can. And then once those submissions are in and everything closes at 12 noon, evaluation will commence, and that will continue throughout November and December. And the notification of intention to award is set for the 10th of January 2024. All those key dates are in the ITT Pack Part 1, so you can go back and have a look at them also. And one of the questions that came up that we'll talk through on the next slide was about scoring weightings. So again, in the same pack, ITT Part 1, you can see the scoring is split out 40% response to general quality questions, 10% to social value, and 50% to lot specific questions. So that's how the weightings are set up on this particular procurement. So some questions that have already been posed, just in case you haven't seen them. So this is an extract of the clarification log that's in the Your Tender portal. It was last updated on the 6th of October. We would always advise with any clarification questions that you check the log before you put a clarification question in. Often somebody might have already asked exactly the same question or a similar enough question to give you the answer, and the answer might already be there for you. And it is obviously much quicker to get the answer through the log if it's already there than pose the same question again. Of course, Go for Growth is concerned with process-related questions. So just to say that there are more questions in the clarification log than you can see on screen now. But what I've done is I've pulled out process-related questions for the purpose of this drop-in session. One question, and we did go through some of these on the last drop-in session, but could we clarify where to locate the pricing schedule, as mentioned within the pricing declaration? Can we clarify if this is a document that needs to be completed and submitted as part of the tender? So the pricing schedule within the declaration statement refers to ITT Part 2, Section 3 for pricing. And Bradford have confirmed they do require bidders to accept and sign the declaration as part of the ITT Part 2 response document. The next question is around potential to arrange site visits. So providers may wish to make site visits to service delivery venues to familiarise yourselves with premises and facilities. They can be arranged with New Choices through one of the contact numbers that are currently on screen. The option to make those site visits will end as of the 18th of October, after which site visits will no longer be possible. So it is important, if you do want to arrange a site visit, that you do that and make sure the site visits are done by the 18th of October. And just a note from Bradford Council here as well, that staff at delivery venues have been advised not to answer questions related to the procurement process. That process is a protected process. So any questions that you have must come back to the commissioning team via the clarification messaging facility within the Your Tender portal. So please do remember that that is a protected process, and that any questions that you have must go back through the clarification process. You mustn't ask those to staff at delivery venues if you are arranging a visit. There is a question on how many awarded contracts there can be. So we understand successful providers can only be awarded a maximum of 4 contracts. Can there be some clarity about whether you can apply for more than 4? So the council have confirmed that you can apply for any number of lots, and I think there are 26 lots, something like that. Within the ITT Part 2 application, though, what they do ask is that you prioritise the lots that you apply for by preference, because you will only be awarded up to a maximum of 4, but you can apply for more than 4. The next question is, can you confirm that the evaluation criteria is based on quality and pricing? So it's not based on pricing. We've just gone through that. Is based on quality and social value. Those percentages that I talked through on this screen, the 40%, the 10% and the 50%, they are given at 20.2 in ITT Part 1 documents. So that's where you can find it. But it is quality and social value, 40% general quality, 10% social value, 50% quality lot specific. And then somebody's popped a question in about where can we find the recording from the Tender Ready training session that Go for Growth did with Bradford Council on the 22nd of September. There is a link on the screen here. That is a live link. So you can copy and paste that link into your browser, or if you click through this slide deck, you should be able to go straight to that video. If you're watching this recording back, that should also be a live link for you to click straight through to that Tender Ready training. And then one of the questions that we had through last week's drop-in session was, is it imperative to be CQC registered? And actually Go for Growth was not able to answer that question because it is to do with technical issues as opposed to process, but we have included it here because what we did say we would do is push it through the clarification questions, and we always will. If there's a question we can't answer, we'll push it through clarifications, which we did. Bradford Council have come back, and their answer in the clarification log is that providers do not need to be CQC registered. And then the final question relating to process in the clarification log is, how do I access the TUPE information? That is in the documentation also, but just to clarify, to receive a copy of TUPE information, what you need to do is sign the TUPE confidentiality form, which is at Appendix 4, and return that to Bradford Council via the messaging function on the Your Tender procurement portal system. So those are some of the questions that we've had and have either had into Go for Growth through the clarification process that are related to, excuse me, to process. There are lots more questions in that clarification log. So if you have any other technical or pricing related questions, rate related questions, for example, do go along and have a look at that clarification log. There's lots of helpful information in there. And then finally, just before I open up to the floor for questions, we do say this a lot. Please don't feel like you're alone in this process. You obviously can ask lots of questions to Bradford Council through that clarification process. But if you are struggling, if your tender is new to you, if the process is new to you, if you just want to bounce some questions on process off with some real people, then you can get in touch with myself. I'm Gillian Askew, one of the directors of Go for Growth, or you can get in touch with my colleague Lauren Siddons, who is our procurement assistant. Also in Go for Growth, our contact details are on screen for you. So please do feel free to email us or give us a ring on those mobile numbers, and we'll be happy to try and help. What you can also see is our Go for Growth calendar. So if you would like to book a Teams meeting for 30 minutes with us, you can do so directly through that link straight into our calendars. Just choose who you want to book with, either myself or Lauren, and we can have a Teams meeting as well as answering questions via email or over the telephone. If you wanted to book Teams, we can share screens and try and help you every step of the way with the process. And again, if you've got questions that relate to technical capability or pricing capability, we can't answer those. We'll be more than happy to pose those questions to the council, as long as it's before the clarification deadline closes. So please do feel free to get in touch. We are here to help. It's of no cost to you. Bradford Council have commissioned Go for Growth for a number of years, and so all the support that we offer to you, the marketplace, is offered free of charge. So no cost at all to you. So do please feel free to use that facility if you want to. And I'll just do a quick check. So I don't think we have any questions in the Q&A at the minute. But I'll just give it a couple of seconds to see if anybody has any questions that what we've gone through hasn't answered just yet. If you don't have any questions, don't worry. If you suddenly think of something after this drop-in session, you can get in touch with us through any of these ways that are on the screen. You can also go to our website. There's a contact form in there as well, which is www.goforgrowth.co.uk. And if you go to our YouTube channel, so where the link sends you for the tender ready training, there's lots of other video tutorials in there that can help you with selection, bidding skills, etc. So please do feel free to use all of the resources from Go for Growth. They're there for you to try and help. Let me just see if there are any further questions. There's nothing in the chat or the Q&A at the moment. So what I'll do is I'll close the session for this morning. Thank you to everybody that's come along. If you do need anything at all, you know where we are. Please do get in touch. Our final drop-in session is planned for this time next week, so 10 a.m. on the 16th. That will be the final drop-in session to ask any process-related questions in that session with Go for Growth. But of course, one-to-ones remain open right the way throughout and beyond this tender. So if you have any questions, even if they don't relate to this particular opportunity, then please do feel free to get in touch. And that is everything from us. So thank you very much. And we hope to see you again soon.